A wide-ranging ban on microplastics covering about 90% of pollutants has been proposed by the EU in an attempt to cut 400,000 tons of plastic pollution in 20 years.
Here's a summary of the article.
A wide-ranging ban on microplastics covering about 90% of pollutants has been proposed by the EU in an attempt to cut 400,000 tons of plastic pollution in 20 years. The phasing out proposed by the European Chemicals Agency would remove 36,000 tons a year of intentionally added microplastic fibers and fragments, starting in 2020. The draft law targets microplastics that are not necessary but have been added to products by manufacturers for convenience or profit. The UK imposed a more limited ban on plastic microbeads in cosmetics and personal care products last year, focused on items such as shaving foam, toothpaste and shower gel. It does not tackle the estimated 176,000 tons of microplastics that are unintentionally released into EU surface waters every year, the lion's share from road tire wear and pre-production pellets. Elise Vitali, Chemicals Policy Officer at the European Environmental Bureau, said the microplastics problem was fed by irresponsible firms, such as those making personal care products, that decided to swap natural ingredients like ground almond, coconut shell and olive seed for plastic microbeads and ignored the public backlash and scientific warnings. She added, "We'll be pushing hard to tighten this proposal to ensure real impact." Tackling the plastics inside products is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to solving the microplastic blight, but is a necessary step.
This post received a score of 9,438, with an upvote ratio of 96%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
This is good regulatory leadership by the EU. Hopefully other countries will follow their example.
India and China specifically.
India and China combined produce more than 80% of the global plastic pollution for domestic consumption. Meaning that even if the rest of the world stops producing and consuming any plastic-containing products, it would barely make a dent, as it is all on China and India.
Greater than India and China combined produce more than 80% of the global plastic pollution for domestic consumption. Meaning that even if the rest of the world stops producing and consuming any plastic-containing products, it would barely make a dent, as it is all on China and India. 20% is more than just a dent though.
Apart from that, these bans would also force China to produce gadgets without using these plastics as well, or it can't sell that stuff in Europe, which is one of the largest markets. Even indirectly, China would likely also benefit from it.
I'm very happy with the trend here after the ban on those awful microbeads. What's worrying is that while this will tackle the 36,000 tons of intentionally added microplastics, there are apparently 176,000 tons that are considered unintentional. And that's just in the EU.
What's worrying is that is not even saving 1 kilogram per EU citizen per year. In total, this saves 60 grams of plastic waste per person per year. So, 3 PET water bottles, person per year. It's very little. 60 grams in microplastics is a lot though.
Does that ban include fishing nets?
IIRC. The EU plastic strategy does have sections about fishing nets. Not outright banning them, but making fish net producers in part pay for producing and cleaning up them.
Proud of the EU for climate change initiatives. And for being the only ones standing up to Facebook, Google etc.
A saving of 400,000 tons over 20 years seems woefully inadequate. Sad face.
It's a start. And given that the 400,000 estimate is based only on intentionally added microplastics, and the fact that the EU will probably expand this scheme, that number will go up. Besides, doing something is always better than just not dealing with the issue. Especially because the EU also plays a role model to other countries when it comes to policy change.
Glad to hear it. While Calgary, Alberta is getting awards for recycling even meat and bones, in Atlanta, the only place to recycle is Walmart. No glass recycling. Basically, they are too cheap to pay for it. It would provide jobs to pick it up, jobs in recycling, and help stop global warming. But, it is illegal for Atlanta teachers to even admit there is such a thing as global warming. Cheapskates and liars.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by SMMRY.com, without any human intervention.